Welcome back to the Financial Freedom Edge. So today I'm going to talk about something that's actually a little personal. I have a really good friend of mine who is struggling financially, and he reached out to me and he said, Brandon, I've kind of put myself in a little bit of a pickle. And I said, well, that's not good. What's going on? And he said, well, how do I go about debt consolidation? And I said, well, why do you want to know about that? What's going on? Obviously I understand the reason for debt consolidation. But I said, hey, what's the deal? And he said, well, I just have too many payments on things. He is a very nice guy. We have completely different philosophies about money. He wants to enjoy his life right now, and he spends like he's going to die tomorrow, which is great. He goes all kinds of cool places, hiking and adventuring and doing all kinds of cool stuff, which is awesome. I'm super jealous, right? But here's the part that most people don't normally see is, hey, I literally can't make enough money to make payments on everything, right? Like, washers and dryers and trips and things that I put on credit cards, and I can't keep making the minimum payments on everything. I'm in trouble. Car, apartment, utilities, right? Like all of these things cost money to live. And he's kind of in a situation where he, can't keep making these payments on everything. And I said, well, you have a couple different options. So, first and foremost, is there anything you can sell, right? So let's not miss any payments on anything, right? Missing payments devastates your credit. Do not do that. So is there anything you can sell, anything that you have, right? Like any of these things that you have, payments on, whether it be, a really cool radio or a computer or laptop or whatever, right? Is there anything you can sell to generate income to help pay off, some of these credit cards, to pay off some of the debts? That was the first thing I asked him. And then, so I kind of give him a list, right? I said, this is the order that I would consider doing things. And forgive me if I miss one or two steps, I'll come back to it. But I said the first thing you need to do is make all your minimum payments on everything. And if you can sell anything to pay off credit cards, to pay off, whatever it is, to generate money to make sure you don't miss a rent payment or whatever it is you need to do, is there anything that you can do to get yourself out of trouble here? And that was the first thing I said. Second thing is, can you get a line of credit on anything? Can you get a line of credit? Can you get a home equity line of credit is if you own a house. Can you get a zero interest, 12-month credit card? Because you can do balance transfers with those things, right? You can, move money around. Is there an unsecured line of credit that you can get from the bank? And that was one of the things he told me he tried already. He said, yeah, I went to my bank where I've been banking for, 10, 15 years or whatever. And he said that they told him no, they would not give him a line of credit because of his debt to income. So if you guys haven't heard me talk about this already, debt to income ratio is something that banks really look at. It's something that they will deny you credit for. They'll deny you a home loan. They'll deny you all kinds of stuff, right? Because your debt to income ratio determines how much money do you have to spend to cover your debt. So this is your debt to income ratio, right? Obviously, you want more money than you have debts. You want to be able to cover your debts easily, preferably with 30 or less % of your income. Obviously, the lower the number, the better, right? So because he has a high debt to income, just like me, right? Because I have multiple mortgages that I'm paying for. I have a home equity line of credit that I'm paying for. I have credit cards that I have to pay off because of the renovations that I've use them for. Again, nothing frivolous. I don't put anything frivolous on credit cards. That's dangerous. But anything that'll make me more money, i.e. generate more rent, okay, I'll put that on a credit card. But I also, even though I think I use my debt responsibly, my credit responsibly, even I have high debt to income ratio. If I went to go try to get a mortgage right now, I would be denied. So I understand where he's coming from. Banks will deny you if they don't think that you can continue to meet your debt obligations. So he tried that already, and he was denied. Obviously, he can reach out to more than one bank, but the problem becomes once you get denied from a couple institutions and you keep applying for credit, that's also going to hurt your score, right? Multiple inquiries hurt your credit score. And he may not be worried about this at this point in time, because I asked him, I said, well, worst case scenario is you declare bankruptcy. BK, right? Bankruptcy. And there's chapter 7, chapter 13. There's a couple different things. I'm not as well versed on those things, so consult an attorney. But if you guys want me to do the research and to give you guys a general synopsis, the difference between those two things, let me know in the comments and I'll do some research. But I told him, I said, hey, if you're not going to buy a house or you're not going to buy a car in the next 7 to 10 years, if you're not going to make any major purchase, bankruptcy is unfortunately an option. It's not very attractive, but it is an option, right? And you want to do that on your own terms, right? You don't want people to start repoing your cars and that type of stuff, right? You want to get ahead of it and be in control of it. So bankruptcy, and I would say that's probably the very last option, right? Because like I said, the worst case scenario is having people repo your stuff. Like if you have a couch or a TV that you've gone to a rent-a-center, cars, different, not paying your rent or your mortgage, like those those are really bad, right? That's you're not even attempting to pay these creditors. You're not working with anybody. Like in a bankruptcy, you're working with people. You're trying to figure it out, right? But when they start repoing your stuff and you're missing payments on mortgages and you're going to get evicted, that's not good. That's the worst case scenario because you're not willing to work with the people you owe money to. And like me as a landlord, when I see people have evictions for non-payments or they have a repo on their credit because they didn't pay their car, that means they didn't even try to make it work with the person that they owed money to. So that's very scary. That's very risky for somebody who's willing to extend you a vehicle or extend you credit or extend you a place to stay, because the last person that did that, you didn't even try to work with them. So be very careful of that. But so there is, lines of credit, home equity line of credit, credit cards, you can do balance transfers. But again, be very careful with that stuff, right? Because, multiple inquiries hurt your credit, and then eventually everybody will start denying you because multiple people have already denied you. And he's probably going to get denied because of his debt to income ratio. So when I said the first option is to sell stuff, I mean that, right? You need to generate income now. And I mean, you can sell plasma, you can sell blood, you can sell more of your time if you got to work 3 jobs, right? Like, obviously not an ideal situation, but if you got to sell stuff, and what I would preferably sell is like a car that you can't afford, right? If you can get a cheaper car without a payment, if you can sell that car and you're not upside down. I mean, even if you are upside down, selling it and throwing all of the money at the payment will lower your payment, right? If you need to move to a less expensive place, if you need to move in with your family, if you need to move in with a partner, if you need to, stop going out to eat, and as Dave Ramsey would say, eat rice and beans and rice. Debt consolidation, there is companies that'll help you do that. Normally, they charge a fee, which is not ideal because you're already struggling. I have heard of nonprofit organizations who are willing to help, and I would say that's probably the first people that I would reach out to as a nonprofit. So if you start Googling debt consolidation companies, I would look for the ones that end in .org. Debt consolidation, Portland, Oregon .org, right? An organization that is nonprofit. .com or anything else, they're probably trying to make money off of you, which isn't bad, right? Maybe they can get results, right? Because if they're getting paid, they need to get results. So maybe you do consider that. But I would consider selling anything you can, working as much as you possibly can. If you really believe and you're certain that you can pay people back, you may consider reaching out to friends and family and fully explaining the situation, saying, hey, I'm in trouble. I am going to start selling things. I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm going to sell plasma. I'm going to sell blood. I'm going to work three jobs. I'm working Monday through Sunday, 10 to 10, and 10 and 10 again, right? Whatever it is that you need to do. But, but be realistic, right? If you do not feel confident in your ability to pay your family back, please do not burn that bridge, right? Like if you owe your friends or family money, that will never go well. So please do seriously consider, borrowing from people before you do that. I would rather you go bankrupt on a big company that can write it off against their taxes than mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, who is just going to resent you for the rest of your life. So don't do that. But if you have a clear path of how you're going to pay them back, you can consider that. But that is kind of your options, right? You can make more money, sell stuff, try to get lines of credit through banks and credit cards. You can go through a debt consolidation company, and then I would say bankruptcy, or just not pay anything and stick your head in the sand, and then you have your stuff repossessed or be evicted or have your property foreclosed on. So I just kind of wanted to make this video. I don't know if he's going to see it. I kind of already talked to him a little bit about his options. But for anybody else going through this very difficult time, please, talk to somebody, reach out to me, reach out to friends and family, anybody that like anybody who's doing well financially. Just say, hey, I'm in a little bit of trouble. Do a little bit of Googling, do a bit of research. Watch more videos like this, but please, be very mindful. Debt is a serious thing and can, get you in a very difficult situation. So that's kind of the end of the video. I just wanted to make this video for people like my personal friend who is struggling right now, and hopefully, this helped to give you an idea, a list of things that you can do, action items to take, so you can hopefully dig yourself out of the situation. Obviously, the more credit cards you pay off, the more cars you pay off, you can continue rolling that into the next debt, If you are on a plan, there is the debt snowball and debt avalanche methods. I don't want to go too much into those right now because, long videos people don't really like. But debt avalanche is the mathematical best way to go about it. So you start with your highest interest rate loan, which is usually credit cards, and start paying those off as fast as you can. Psychologically, you would go with the like if you need quick victories to give you the psychological boost, you can do the debt snowball, which is you pay off the debt that you owe the least amount on. So you don't look at interest rates at all, you just look at amounts. Like if you only owe a couple thousand on your car, pay that off, even if it's 5%, right? And you have credit cards at 28%. Your car payment, once you get that one done, okay, now you have an extra $200 a month you can start throwing at the next thing and the next thing, right? So there's a lot of different ways to go about it, but you're kind of in a situation right now where you need to make as much money as you possibly can, regardless of what it is, right? You're not going to be sleeping very much. You're going to be working. You're going to be doing Uber Eats and dropping people off and doing landscaping work on the weekends and asking for overtime at work and doing gig work and whatever, any stocks or anything that you have. Like if you have stocks or any type of investments, I would obviously get with a financial advisor and see if that financially makes sense to pull some of that money Obviously, you do not want to pull that money and be taxed on it. That's not good, right? Because now you're looking at a 20-30% tax on money to pay off debt. So there's some finite things. There's some finessing that you can do, but really you want to make money and stop spending. If you can do that and start selling things, I would recommend that as your first and foremost strategy for debt consolidation.